Good evening, everyone. It's Tuesday, September 8th. You're listening to the Fighting News TV. And let me go around the room and introduce everyone here. You all know Steve Rothman. He's the creator and founder of the Fighting News, winner of the 2019 South Florida MMA Awards for Best Media Group. We have another award winner in here this evening, and it is Melissa Santiago.
Actually, what's up?
Good to see you, Lex.
Melissa.
Look at that. Award winner.
Yep. That is us.
Yes,
That's
and we
feeling as well.
We also have the 2019 South Florida MMA Man of the Year.
Man of the
Year. Lex McMahon. Let's give a big round of applause.
So we got a lot of award winners in here.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's right.
Winners.
We don't get the losers on the show.
No losers on the show.
So Lex, it's a pleasure to have you with us tonight. The Man of the Year award is very well deserved. You do a lot for the South Florida MMA scene. Titan FC is well regarded as the best professional show in the region, in the state for sure. And we're happy to have you. How are you tonight, sir?
Doing great, man. And as always, it's like I feel like you guys are family, man. Like if there's a show that happens, you guys aren't there. Like it's a little awkward, it's a little weird, you know. So no, but it's great to be with you guys, as always. And things are great, man. Just like I said, just picked up my awesome daughter Addison from her dance class, and getting ready to go home, have dinner, but I'm spending a little bit of time with you guys.
Nice.
On this beautiful Tuesday evening.
Well,
we'd love to have you on.
Since we're family, Lex, what are we eating?
We got pork. My mom's in town, and she made pork loin and lentils and rice.
Wow.
Nice.
A lot of feel good food, man.
All right, we'll be over shortly after the interview. We'll be over.
Is that a pot leaf above your head, Matt?
No, that's a Fusion CBD.
Okay.
So the answer to your question is yes.
I was like, that looks alarmingly like marijuana.
Steve, what's going on, Steve?
Yeah.
We're checking out which one does there's the belt. We'll be talking about that belt later.
All right.
Yes, we will. So Steve is going to play with the buttons a lot. So if that distracts anyone, ignore him. But yeah, so let's give a quick shout out to our sponsor, Fusion CBD. Not all CBD is created equal. Fusion has some of the best products out there: recovery, pain relief, anxiety. You name it, CBD is good for it. If you haven't tried it, try it. Use the code The Fighting News for 15% off. And this show is also brought to you by the number 5 and the letter P. Don't ask me why.
I was going to say the number 5 and the letter P.
And the letter P.
There's got to be a story there.
You must get that reference, Lex. What TV show Famous always used to be brought to you by a letter and a number?
I'm probably going to get it wrong, but I'm thinking
back.
It's a children's show.
Yes.
And the one with the counts and the
exactly.
You know what I'm talking about? Just forget the Sesame Street. Yes.
Sesame Street.
All right.
So yeah, man.
Wow.
That show's got it. Is it still around? I don't know. But it's not.
Sure.
Yeah. So.
Hey, Debbie, what's up? Debbie says hello to everybody.
Hey, Debbie, good to see you. You never miss a show. Thank you for watching.
Yeah, thanks for all your support,
the
Debbie.
Best MMA fan there is, Debbie Gamble.
She is the number one fan.
And I believe she's award-winning as well. If I'm not mistaken, she received an award for being the number 1 fan in MMA. We love you, Debbie.
She definitely is. I don't think I've ever been in a show that she was not at. And it doesn't matter where it is. It could be in Broward, it could be in Miami, or Palm Beach.
She would definitely be there. She truly is the number 1 fan.
Wow. There you go. So, it's funny you should bring that up, Lex, because it really does. It feels like a family sometimes. We do all this work together. And I think our heads and our hearts are all in the same places. Melissa and Steve and I have been doing this for years. Melissa's been doing this for almost a year. It's actually
almost a year.
It's going to be her year anniversary.
Almost a sophomore now. Almost a sophomore.
Do you know?
I like how you're thinking, Lex.
Steve, do you know when Melissa's anniversary is?
September 11th.
Close. It's the 14th.
All right.
Yeah, it was at we met Melissa at an XFN event. Melissa and Siobhan.
Yep.
Um,
At the Sportsplex in
yes,
Field. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
a rookie no longer.
a rookie no
A
longer.
rookie no longer. It's definitely been a learning experience, and I've been so fortunate to be a part of it all. And looking forward to so many more shows to cover and learning so much more and just getting better and better at it.
Well, here's
Yeah.
the thing, and I mean, I've been in the sport for 12 years now, and you know, guys like Ariel Hawani and guys like that, man, everybody started out not much different than where you started out a year ago, which is they were fans and they didn't have a ton of experience, but they had a passion. And
Right.
the next thing you know, they cultivated. Now Ariel's like the guy on ESPN, and you know,
Yeah.
I have a great history with Ariel over the years from all the time that I was managing, you know, the UFC guys. And the thing is like, you know, again, talking about family, you know, MMA is such a small universe, and the number of
Yeah.
people is very finite that are in it, even at the highest level.
Yeah.
And like we all travel together for like the UFC events, and like you would go from one week to the next week, you know, from Hamburg, Germany to Macau to Istanbul to wherever, and it was just the same group of people, man. Like we just change cities and we go out and party and have dinner and go to the fights and cover the fights and be there, and it hasn't really changed that much. So it's kind of fun to see, at the level here where it's the Florida contingency kind of doing the same thing. We're having that same vibe where it's event to event. We're all there. You guys are always at our events, and we're kind of participating in promoting one another, and we kind of joke about it being award winning, but I take that seriously, man, because it's important for us all to lift one another up. Because MMA really is about being a family, I think, in a lot of regards. One guy may get into a cage or one gal, but it takes a lot of people to create the opportunity for that to happen. And, all of us in our different roles are a part of that.
Yeah, and it's and the boxing world that we're involved with is a lot like that also. And on your level, what's great about it, Lex, is that we get to see these fighters that are local guys, that in some cases, like some of the guys we're going to discuss today, we knew when they were fighting amateurs, then they turn pro and go over to Titan FC, and then the next step is the UFC. There's a pipeline.
Well, that's my job. Like my job is to be the dream maker, and help guys fulfill their destiny and fulfill their dreams. I facilitate that growth. If a guy puts in the work and it's someone that I really believe in, and they show results in the cage, then we begin to tell their stories, and then eventually, I'm making a call to Dana and saying, hey, bro, like you got to check this guy out or this guy out. They're special. They've got what it takes to fight for you. And that's the thing is, Dana, Mick Maynard, and Sean Shelby all know if I say, hey, this person has the talent to make it, they know I know how to judge it because I've been in this sport so long, and I've managed and been around some of the the highest level athletes that there are in this sport. And it's good when I can say, hey, this guy can make it, and they're like, yes. That's why we have over 100 people put into the UFC in just the past 4 years into the UFC ecosystem between Contender and UFC proper.
How many?
Over 100.
Over 100.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's us and LFA who lead the pack in terms of number of the fighters put into the UFC.
That's
I feel like
amazing.
there's been a tremendous amount of growth in the MMA world in the last couple of years. Just tremendous. It's been insane.
Yeah. No, it absolutely has. And that's great. I mean, you want to see the sport continue to grow. Yeah, I'm driving now, guys. My daughter's over there looking.
Well, make sure you pay attention to the road, okay?
Oh, no, I will. Don't worry. But, we're at a point in time now where, the sport has grown so much and there's so many opportunities for athletes, but they've got to be able to have a platform, right? And that's what we do. And what you guys do is tell their stories.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know what? We love doing it. It's all about gratitude and paying back and things like that. and we've made a lot of friends, and that's the way it is, and some of these guys have great stories, and their backstories are great, and
Well, that's
they
what it's
feel,
about to me. To me, like,
yeah,
yes, the performance is vital. I mean, that is kind of ultimately what everybody's looking to see. But what makes it interesting, right, is that you buy into the backstory. You get excited about seeing that person go in and perform because you know something about their backstory. Why is someone like Conor McGregor so successful? It's not just that he's a great fighter. He is, but he tells his story on his terms. And, it doesn't always have to be braggadocious and bombastic as he is, but anybody that goes out and tells their story on their terms and then goes and backs it up, they're going to have fans,
Yeah.
and
Right.
that's someone who understands, the value of entertainment. That's what Connor's doing, and what, any fighter that opens up and allows people to find out who they are as a human being. Why was Ultimate Fighter so successful? Not that the fights were great. There were some great fights for sure, but there were some shitty fights too. It
Yeah.
was successful because it pulled the curtain back and allowed the fans to see a different side of fighters that, before that had never been seen.
Yeah.
absolutely.
The human side.
Is there anyone who stands out in your mind in terms of their story that has gone through your organization? Um, in
Man,
terms of,
there's some great stories that have. Yeah, there's some great stories. I mean, Muhammad Usman has a great story. Coming from Nigeria, and really in poverty in Nigeria. Him and his brother Cameroon, and ultimately, navigating and making the way. Here's his brother as the UFC welterweight champion. But Muhammad is doing it under his terms, and he's not riding on his brother's coattails. He's going out. He's 7-1 now, and he's scratching and clawing to make it and become a champion on his own right, and take that step into the UFC. So he's a great story. Yuli
Is he
Diaz is a great
is he
story.
ready? Is Muhammad ready, Lex?
He's ready, man. He is ready. I think that the guy he fought in the last show was tougher than he expected.
Yeah.
Um,
I
like he
saw
came in
he
always a
lifted
little
he lifted him up. I mean, the guy got to be like 300 pounds. I mean, and
You
body
talking about
slammed him.
Terrence Hodges?
Yeah, most strong. He's powerful.
Yeah. Yeah.
But he came to me after the fight, and he's like, "Man, that guy just didn't want to go down." And that's the reality. Is it doesn't matter what records are or whatever. A fight's a fight,
Yeah.
and I think if there's a growth point that I could suggest for Muhammad is he can't look past the fight just because he's ready to be in the UFC. Everybody knows he's ready to be in the UFC and take on big fights, and and yeah, he's ready, but guess what? That dude was there to fight, man. And so he learned, I think, an important lesson that night. And because he and I talked about it subsequent, and I think that he'll grow from that experience. But I think he is ready.
Yeah.
I look at a guy like Yuli Diaz, who is very honest about his background and having spent time in prison and turning his life around. And he tells people, anybody that will listen, it's like he's on top of the mountain yelling as loud as he possibly can that fighting saved his life.
Yeah.
And now he's paying it forward and doing a tremendous amount for the community and very philanthropically involved. He's someone that I really consider a very dear friend now. And, I think his story is tremendous. Rami
Yeah.
Hamed, who actually lives at my house, his story is tremendous because here's a guy who he fought for me, then he went on and fought for Brave, and he was scheduled to fight for Brave March 29th, I believe, this year.
Yeah.
COVID happens. His fight gets canceled. He had given up his house and his apartment, and he didn't have a place to stay, and he couldn't get home because his country closed.
Yeah.
So he couldn't get back to Lebanon. So he was stranded without a place to stay. And Shorty Torres, who is a mutual friend of Rami and I, called me up and told me about it. And I was like, Rami, bro, you just move in, man. So he's been at my house since March. And,
wow.
I've got to learn a lot about, he has an engineering degree. He's a licensed engineer. And, but we've watched together his country degrade, week after week, month after month, and then they just had that giant explosion there. The economy is, his dad was making like $5,000 a month. He's now making like $250 or $500 a month. Like the currency is devalued so much, and then that they had that giant explosion, which devastated Beirut. There's essentially anarchy and on the verge of being civil war on the streets, and he can't get home. Like he's a gypsy right now, man. And fortunately, like it worked out. He has a home with us, and I know he's going to go on to the UFC soon. But I mean, he's like essentially like stranded right now, and yet he has a positive attitude, and he helps my kids with their math classes, and he's become part of our family. So I mean, you hear the human story about what people go through to make it, to chase their dreams, and to realize what they've created as a vision for themselves, and about success, and what it takes to get there.
Yeah, it's amazing.
I think that's why it's so important what we do, because we want to tell their story and we want to get them out there, and we want people to learn how to love these guys, because they are just like the rest of us going through their struggles.
Yeah, for sure.
For
sure, man. Like athletes are, they're great because they put themselves out there for people to be distracted and have some form of entertainment. But nobody understands what a fighter sacrifices to do that. Unlike all the other major, sports where, training is covered by the team or the league that they're associated with. And, they get guaranteed hundreds of thousands of dollars. And fighting isn't like that. They pay for everything themselves. They get paid shit in the beginning. And that's just the reality. And even when they make it to the top level, but they're just entering into the top level, say the UFC or whatever. I mean, they're not poor, but they're struggling. They're still having to. They got to pay a manager. They got to pay their team. They got to pay their coaches. They got to pay taxes. All those things. So they're making more money than they were on the regional scene, and maybe they're getting a chance at a bonus or something like that. But the reality is that money goes, and it goes quick.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a big they sacrifice everything for such a small shot to make it to the very top where they can make serious money.
Yeah. And the guys in the amateurs, they don't even care. They're like I don't care about selling tickets now. Just I want to fight. They just want to get in the ring and bang. Because they want to turn pro. They want to make it to your show. Lex is frozen.
Maybe he just got home or something.
Yeah.
No, I'm here.
Oh, you here?
No,
okay,
yeah,
you
guys.
Okay, you were frozen.
Yeah.
You can't quit me.
Yeah.
We don't want to quit, Lex. We don't want to quit.
So is it hard for you, Lex, to get Muhammad a fight? I mean, because the heavyweights are a really hard division. There's not a lot of guys to choose from in South Florida to pick, and everyone wants to see the heavyweights also. So is it hard to?
It's about finding the right fight, and I don't care if it's in Florida. I mean, I fly guys in all the time. I mean, shit, I flew Muhammad in. I look toward. We're fortunate that we typically don't have to travel a tremendous amount of the card because we've got so many talented fighters here. We've got with American Top Team and Sanford MMA and MMA Masters and just all the great gyms we have in this area. We literally have some of the best fighters from a lot of different countries in the world that come here to train, and as they're working their way up, they're looking for fights, right? So where do they come to fight? They come to fight for me because they know I'm going to help move them along, right? That Jeff and I, my partner, we're going to make the call. Like, my partner came up with the idea of doing the UFC out clause, and I think it was one of the best business decisions we've made from a strategy perspective, because instead of competing with the UFC, we became, a partner automatically, and we started feeding them talent. And then once people understood that we would become an advocate for them, you know, we get guys, frankly, that we probably couldn't afford normally, but they are willing to come fight for us because they know we're going to bend over backwards to help build their career and be an advocate for them.
Right.
And that's what this level is about, is advancement, right? So if you can find a promoter that's going to, you know, bend over backwards to help you, that's probably where you want to be. And that's why Mo, you know, has continued to, you know, fight for us, because he has a vision of where he wants to be. And, you know, just because his brother is the welterweight champion at the UFC doesn't automatically give him carte blanche. Like, he needs to be built up. People need to be excited about Muhammad Usman.
Yeah.
And that only comes about by him fighting and me telling his story. That's the only way it happens.
Right.
Yeah. I'll tell you, you got another. Well, it's Muhammad Jan Naimov from. He's from where? Kazakhstan, or is he from?
Tajikistan.
One more time.
Triple G stand.
No, Tajikistan. So
Tajikistan.
Okay,
yeah,
that
Tajikistan.
guy. Yeah, he's undefeated. What's he, 5-0 or something? He just got his
stud,
spot
man.
on the contender. Yeah, and he's
an
another
absolute stud.
Yeah, he's a really nice guy too. You know, and I think I think I was talking to his family at one of your shows. I think like his mother was there or whatever.
Yeah, they travel really, like, when we could have fans in attendance, like, he would bring 40, 50 people from, you know, New York, from Vegas, like, you know, from all over.
And that fight he had against Sean Brown, man, was one of the best fights that I've seen in Titan.
No, listen, Sean was putting it on him. And
absolutely,
then he made a mistake, and Muhammad wasn't able to capitalize on it.
Yep.
And got a great choke, you know, really after, like, if he didn't get the finish, I don't think he was going to win.
No.
Oh,
no.
For sure. He
absolutely.
For sure.
Yeah, Sean was dominating most of the time, you know. That was a great night, by the way. That was, what number was that? Was that a?
I don't know. I've lost track, man.
Yeah, I've lost track.
Well, we just did 63.
Yeah, I know when it was. It was back in December, I think. And you had Erwin Rivera against Sabatello. That was a great fight.
Yeah,
I was there for that one. That was a really great fight.
Yeah, no, and I'm happy to talk about someone who's made it onto the UFC, you know, from Titan. Erwin Rivera is a tremendous story, man. Yep. Absolutely love that kid. He's gone, and you know, like, he was up and down, and then he found his groove when he came to Titan, and started, like, that fight against Danny Sabatello, who's considered the top prospect at America Top Team. You know, his fight with Erwin, like, Erwin put on a masterclass. Like, Erwin looked incredible that night.
He did, for sure.
You know, and that got him into the UFC.
Yeah. Congrats to him.
Well, and he got a 3-fight contract, which, you know, is awesome for Erwin.
No, for sure.
And Sabatello's heading there too, you know?
Yeah, no, he's well on his way. I think it's just a matter of time for him.
Yep.
Division I wrestler. I mean, he just got to work on, you know, not much, because, you know, Erwin's the only one who's giving him trouble.
Yeah. No, for sure. I think his next fight with us, which will probably be in November, if I'm not mistaken. You know, Danny and I need to kind of catch up. He just got back, and I just got back from taking some veterans and bear hunting in Maine, and we were actually trading text messages today. So he and I are going to catch up, and we'll figure out what he wants to do and when he wants to do it, and then, you know, hopefully one more win gets him on his way.
He's got a good character too. He's likable. He's likable for sure.
Yeah. And no, he's a guy who understands that there's some marketing that has to be done, and then he backs it up.
Yeah.
You know who I like a lot? Bruno Oliveira.
Yeah. Bruno's a good dude, man. I wish he would have fought for us more than once. We tried a couple of times, and then he got his shot for contender, and, you know, we were happy for him. So,
yeah, I like his striking game a lot, you know, and I look forward to seeing him fight again. Jason Suarez, he's still undefeated.
Yep, 14-0. He is. Hold on, guys. I'm trying to. There
As
we go.
Justin Sims says, literally the best job he's ever had working under Lex, hands down.
Well, Justin gives his heart and soul to Titan and to me personally, and I'm super appreciative of it. And you know, he works hard, man. I try to take care of my team so that they're happy and they work hard for me.
Yeah,
What's up, Justin?
He's a hard
I'm a
worker.
firm believer in you get what you give, you know, and you seem like a really good person, a good guy, always giving back. And, you know, these guys want to do the same for you.
Yeah, we got a comment from
we're
Barbie
lucky.
here, too.
From who, Barbie?
Yeah, you see that, Steve?
Oh, that's the boss.
Hey, Barbie!
So, funny story is I send out a document that she now sends out for me. But on the top of it, it has like names of the key people in the organization and phone numbers that you can get a hold of them. You know, the matchmaker, me, Alex, who handles our back of the house logistics, and then Barbie, and everybody's got their title and everything. Barbie's first title for me was "Get Shit Done."
Yeah.
And then I just changed it to Boss Lady because I think that's a cooler title.
Boss lady.
Well, shout out to Barbie because she's got me on her 21-day challenge. Shout out to you, Barbie, on her herbal life. I started that yesterday. So
you're going like a cleanse. Watch out.
Yes,
bro.
I'm doing I'm just dedicated to getting back in shape and feeling like myself.
Yeah, you know what? COVID is
Shout
just
out to Barbie.
bullshit, man. Like it's jacked with everybody, and so you know, I'm glad to see that you're kind of taking things and saying, hey, I want to feel better. I want to be healthier, and I'm glad Barbie provided some inspiration.
Yeah, she did. She totally inspired me. You know, I follow her on Instagram, and I've seen her story. I thought it was incredible, the results that she had in 21 days. So I said, you know what? Why not? Let's give it a try. I see her all the time. So she's, you know, we talk and she's motivating, and it's been amazing thus far. So she definitely is a good addition to the team for sure. I'm sure for you.
Oh yeah, no, she's my. By the way, Barbie, I promise, I'm gonna get you the bout card as soon as I go inside. I promise, dude. She's been on me like white on rice all day, and that's why I love her. Is she just like, I don't care if you're the boss. Like, I need my shit, dude. Get it over here.
Really?
And she's relentless, man. But I love it. That's why I love her. You know, because she doesn't, you know, she's not worried about, you know, perception or, you know, she's just like, look, you gave me a job, and I'm going to stay on you until you do your part to help me do my job.
But Barbie, aren't you on vacation now? You're doing all this work from. I thought I saw you were on vacation.
Yes, she is on vacation. On top of it.
Yeah.
I don't think she's on vacation. I just talked to her, and she was at the office. So
Okay, maybe she just got back.
Short-lived.
That's funny.
But I wouldn't put it past her to bust my balls while she was on vacation.
You know, I got something for Barb, because you know something, every show that I've ever seen her at, she's always a sweetheart. She's always, you know, if one guy doesn't have a credential, she always says, you know, the Fighting News is like family, like you said, Lex. Shout out to Barb. I got this. Next time I see you, the Fighting News gym bag for you. Helping out our Fighting News.
Nice.
With a cleanse, helping us out. I love
I'm
it.
going inside, guys, so I can at least.
All right, go ahead. Go enjoy your dinner.
No. I'm not leaving you. I'm just going. I just realized like it was dark as could be,
Okay.
so now
Yeah.
at least you can see me.
Well, we should just telling you. We
Love
just
it.
should all come over to dinner next time, you know? Yeah, Barbie, I don't have a bag for you, but I'll put you on my Christmas card list. You are one of our favorites for sure.
Oh, yeah, she's a sweetheart.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Roman Faraldo.
Yes.
So when I see a fighter, it started off with boxing in the amateur boxing. I can say, literally after seeing a 3-round boxing match, if a guy has talent or doesn't. It's also the same for MMA. and I saw him fight, and I was like, that guy's got talent.
Yeah.
So how is he coming up? Gonna get a fight?
Oh yeah, no, Roman
He's
is
going to
fighting.
the DR, isn't he?
Well, he's fighting September 25th here in Miami, back at the Intercontinental Hotel. And
Nice.
We'll see if he goes to the DR. I mean, that's a coveted spot. You know, everybody
Right,
wants to
I
go fight
imagine
the Yeah, everybody wants to go fight the DR.
But you got the walls there.
With COVID going
You got
on,
some
I've gotta
awards and
balance
stuff
out.
going on? Kind of picture
Wait, hold
you got on the walls there.
look. Oh yeah. Oh, say hello to all
Yeah,
my
slow
little
down a
friends.
little. Let's see. You got a gator. You got some beer.
I got.
Now, how did you shoot? Did you shoot?
Two.
You shoot?
You got a
Did you
wild boar.
Yep, wild.
Did you
boar.
shoot the gator, or did you a bow and arrow the gator, or wrestle the gator?
Wrestled
Is
it.
that an alpaca?
I got naked and jumped in the water. Favorite, the baboon.
Wow.
The
Deer,
baboon.
another gator, and an elk.
Do you
That's
drink
like
the
the rule
blood?
of
Do you
doing-
drink the blood after you after the kill?
I have eaten a heart.
Eat
Oh my
deer's
God.
heart? A deer's
Come
heart?
on.
Yeah, I have.
Wow.
I
And that's gotta be.
By the way, that's kind of gross. Not gonna lie. Fucking gross. I was like, oh. This wasn't a good idea. But I did it, you know, some machismo bullshit.
Everyone was egging you on, right? Once you kill it, you gotta.
Hours after that?
Yeah. I mean, every animal that I harvest, I eat, with the exception of the baboon. But we did give that away to the tribesmen who were our guides, and they took it back to their homes and they ate it. But everything, if I shoot something, I eat it. I don't just shoot it, you know, to put the shit on my wall. I mean, I just brought back 70 pounds of bear from Maine that I'm going to be taking up to Alabama to share with some friends very soon.
Nice.
How do you cook your bear? How do you like it? Do you make it chili or
I can do chili,
burgers?
spaghetti, but I've got some roast and I've got some nice steaks out of this bear. So I'm gonna grill it up. You know, maybe a little rosemary and sage and butter, and baste it. A little garlic. Be good,
Nice.
man.
Sounds interesting.
Nice. I've never had bear.
Yeah, no, me neither.
Melissa,
I've had buffalo.
I've also had
Buffalo's like
buffalo.
steak.
Have you ever had
Buffalo's
ostrich?
like steak. I have had ostrich.
Ostrich is really good.
Yeah. I had it when I was in Kenya.
Cool. Yeah. But I've had it like ground, like in a burger.
Yeah. No, I didn't have a giant ostrich leg, but I did when I was in Somalia. When I was in Somalia, I remember being in a Humvee and we're driving over this bumpy, not even a road, just like open terrain. And I look to my right and we're going like 35 miles an hour and a damn ostrich is running next to us and like keeping pace. And I was like, holy shit, that's a big bird. And wow, he's fast.
He's pretty fast, right?
They're scary. Sure.
Yep.
So Somalia, I mean, isn't Somalia kind of a dangerous part of the world in terms of, the people there or is that just out in the ocean, pirates out in the Somalian pirates?
Well, no, I mean that's.
Now it's frozen.
Listen, Somalia has been lawless. Was deposed by the military in the early 90s. And then there was civil war, and then, the U.S. sent 28,000 U.S. Marines, which included myself, to go in and bring stability and get food out. And then next thing you know, we're, in running gun battles with the clans and Mohammed Faradid and the Haber Brigade and, place. And continues to not be a good place because of the lawlessness. There really is no government in place now, and it's used as a terrorist haven.
Yeah. Right, but you're familiar with the country because You were there in the
I spent
military.
I spent a year and a half. Yeah, I spent a year and a half
Okay.
there, and it was probably my least favorite place to visit on this earth. I've been to 107 countries.
Wow. Nice. Very nice. Very nice. So what's the best tasting animal that you have up there on your wall? Which one tasted the best?
The best animal is the kudu, which is the guy with the really crazy spirally horns up there next to the gator.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like tastes like elk, but even tender and more juicy. Just got a great flavor to it.
Interesting.
And where was that? Where was that from?
South Africa.
South Africa.
No, that was a trip where I took, along with A Hero, which is one of the organizations that I sit on the board of directors for. We took a group of wounded vets, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson and his dad, and he was like our guest kind of celebrity. And he's from South Carolina, so he's just a good old boy, loves to hunt. And we went out and had a great time. Spent 8 days in South Africa in the Mpumalanga province, and just saw a lot of beautiful animals and got to bring some home and had some great food, met some great people, and the vets had a amazing experience, and they got to hang out with Wonder Boy, and who if you don't know Wonder Boy, Steven is one of the coolest, most down to earth guys you'll ever meet.
Yeah, and his career is expanding, isn't he? Isn't he doing some commentating now also?
Well, not only
something
it's not really that. He's like the face of Van Heusen. He's a model. So it's like Luke
Oh, he's
Rockhold
doing
and
modeling too. Yeah.
and
Okay.
Stephen Wonderboy Thompson are like. I mean, Stephen is not rough on the eyes. Melissa, I mean, as our female kind of component here, what do you think? Wonderboy not bad looking?
Yeah.
She's like, yeah.
Melissa, Google a picture of Stephen Wonderboy.
Wonderboy Thompson, who by the way is now 35, and I joke with him all the time. I'm like, aren't you like Wonder Man? Like, when did they stop calling you Wonder Boy?
Yeah.
Like Robin, the boy wonder. You're too old for that stuff.
Yeah, he's a good looking guy.
Yeah.
There you go.
Very handsome.
Thank you, Google. But he's the face of Van Heusen now, and that came about
That's
because
awesome.
of his job, because of being a fighter.
Good for
and
him.
he's a
bless
good-looking
him.
kid, and he's sweet, and they just they did a good job with him.
Yeah, I mean, you also mentioned earlier, Ulysses Diaz. I've been watching him box in South Florida. He was a local guy from 305 in the boxing ring. And, he'd bring a ton of fans. And then I saw him on your card, and I'm like, oh, I get to see him in MMA. And then I saw him in bare knuckle. I was like, oh, I get to see him in bare knuckle. I mean, the guy. And then the greatest thing in the world. I'm in Cancun. I go to Cancun for Super Bowl, and I saw a commercial, and he was in it. I'm like,
yep.
Oh my God.
He's
Yuli is a great guy. Great guy.
I'm so glad that I was able to cover that show where he went from boxing to MMA.
Yeah.
First time I met him, his kids were there. He's such a family man. Such a nice guy, down to earth too.
Yeah. No, I love him, man. It's funny.
Yeah.
He has really taken a liking to my mom, and so he always like, "Hey, mom, where's mom? Let me talk to mom." Like he's become family.
Yeah, he's a great guy. We have been following him for years. I think the first time I covered him, I think it was his second or his third professional boxing match. Maybe 8 or 9 years ago or something.
Yeah.
And he had Dada 5000 was with him. Remember that, Steve? It was down at that hotel in Miami. So we've been covering him for a long time, and he's a great guy.
He grew up, in the 305. He grew up with Pitbull, and that's like one of his like guys, and he actually did security for Pitbull, and now, like they're super loyal to one another, which is cool to see. Pitt always has his back and helps him however he can, as Yuli is getting ready for fights, and just in his corner, hyping him up.
Yeah.
Not bad when you have Mr. Worldwide in your corner hyping you up,
Yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah, but you know
Amazing.
what he works for? Yuli works, and he's always training, and he diets, and that's
Yeah.
he does a lot of work to keep in the shape that he is, and
And he's
he
not a
told
spring
me,
chicken. I think he's almost 40. He's like 30, 38, 39,
yeah,
somewhere around
correct.
39,
there.
yeah.
Yeah, something like that. And I asked him, why do you keep going from sport to sport? You're undefeated in boxing. You had a belt. He was going to have to defend that. Why are you moving over there to MMA? And he's like, I just want to do it. It's
He
something
wants
I
the
want to do.
challenge.
Yeah, and the same thing with bare knuckle. And he's just like, I want to do it. So, and he does a bunch of other things. So it's inspiring, man. Everyone should live like that. Just go and do whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
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 Listen, there's a lot to be said for the joie de vivre that he is going with right now. Like, he just loves life, and he is someone who he's got excuse my language, but he's got life by the balls, and he's going for it, man. He's living his best life, and I think that comes from part of his background. He came up hard, and he's in a place now where life is good for him, but he's still hustling, but he does it with a smile on his face.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, exactly.
Definitely a pleasure to be around.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. So what about these new guys that you have fighting for you now? You got Devin Dixon and Ryan Hughes.
Dixon, Ryan, 3rd Street Savage.
Yeah. I think Ryan, you either love or you hate, which is great because that's people talk about him, and he comes from the goat shed, and Asim Zadine, who's the head coach there and the owner, he gets marketing, man, and he's helping these young guys build a brand for themselves. And you know what? That's going to piss some people off, but they get it. They get it, man. They understand that they have a responsibility to help promote themselves as well as the show that they're fighting in. And it's going to get, as long as they continue to back up what they do, then, the Ferraris and the Lamborghinis and the masks and all the craziness that they do, people are going to be like, all right, that's cool. When they stop, when they're not backing it up, that becomes a different story, But his guys are monsters, man. I sit and watch them, and they're some tough kids, man. Like, we've got coming up on our next show, 2 more of the guys from the Goat Shed that are going to be fighting, the Unbroken Roy and Adrian Garcia. Both guys are fighting.
Yeah,
both are studs. Tough flyweights. Like, they've got a lot of these tough lighter weight guys, and then Hector. Like, they got all these guys that are like 25, 35, 45, and then Hector Lombard.
Hector Lombard. Well, yeah, they do have some amazing athletes there, and we've had Coach's team on the show also. We spoke to him. We know his marketing, and it works. And he's got to. You're absolutely right. These guys have to market themselves, and he's helping them along with that. But his background and his experience in martial arts, coming up under, he's trained with Helio Gracie, and John Danaher, who's probably, one of the best alive.
Sahabi. It's funny is, one of my clients from when he was fighting, and still very good friends, is Mike Ricci, who was in the Ultimate Fighter, and then in the UFC and Bellator. He fought for Titan, and it was the Titan champ. He's in town this week, and so he's actually going in. He went with Rami and trained today with Charles Rosa and some of those guys. Tomorrow he's going over to Asim's gym because Asim was training up in Montreal with Ross and George and Rory and Mike and all those guys for a couple years. And so now Mike is down here hanging out just to, kind of come see me and have a little bit of vacation. But he's going to go hang and train with Asim tomorrow. So that'll be kind of fun to see. We're going to be filming Roy and Adrian, and Mike's going to tag along and go train.
Cool.
Yeah, well, those 2 guys are good. I know both of them. They should be. They're a welcome addition to Titan, that's for sure.
Well, the thing is, like I said, we've put in over 100 fighters now over the past 4 years into the UFC ecosystem between Contender and Ultimate Fighter, or I'm sorry, Contender and the UFC, and you've got to build that new pipeline. And fortunately, XFN has done a great job on the amateur scene and building some of these guys. Also, Combat Night and some of the other shows. But, Daniel with XFN has really done a good job in building guys like David Dixon and Ryan Hughes and then helping them go to IMF last year to get some global experience. And, both guys understood that they needed a little bit more time as an amateur before they turned pro after going to IMF, even though they both, they had a positive experience at the Worlds. They just realized that there's a lot of studs out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are, and we interviewed both of them, and we spoke about that experience too. And they said it was eye-opening to see how these athletes from the Russian countries and Eastern European countries, how they train and how serious they take it, and it's just a completely different mentality. And I know
it's like the old Sylvia Block style, where all your amateurs are really pros that have like 35 fights, 40 fights. Like, they're monsters. The seasoned veterans, they just hadn't turned pro yet. And so that's what those guys were going against. And I think it was an invaluable learning experience. And, both of them have told me as much. And Devin in particular was, one of the things I really appreciated about it, and why I knew I was going to like having Devin Dixon fight for us, was that he recognized that he needed more time. He really did. He's like, you know what? I've done really well here on the South Florida regional scene, which, I think is one of the best in the world. But when he got over to IMF, he was exposed to guys that really should be pro anywhere else. I mean, they're being paid, stipends of tens of thousands of dollars to train by their countries. So these guys aren't rushing to go turn pro the same way that someone here they have to get their 5 fights and they turn pro just so they can start making money. These guys in Dagestan, Chechnya, Russia, wherever, they're all lost they're all in there, training and working with guys like Khabib and Islam and all these guys that are already in the UFC. But these guys are holding their own already.
Yeah,
because they're so seasoned. So when they go against a guy who's only got like 5 or 6 amateur fights, it's night and day.
Yeah, and it's interesting that you bring up that they have the support of their countries there. It's not like that in the United States of America, and you even see that with the boxing also. Olympic boxing used to be a lot bigger than it is now. They used to, provide housing for fighters and things like that, and really try and groom them. You don't see that anymore. So I don't know. I think our country just has to get behind the whole MMA and combat sports scene the way these other countries do.
Yeah, you mentioned another fighter, Lex.
Yeah, it's interesting. So, who's that, buddy?
We're losing you.
Yeah, you're cutting out a little, Lex.
Guys, Bueller?
Yeah.
Anyone?
Yeah.
We can hear you now.
You were frozen.
All right. Yeah. So, Steve, what were you saying about another fighter?
Yeah, another fighter. You just mentioned Charles Rosa. I remember seeing him as an amateur. He was ranked #1 amateur in South Florida, and he had a great story too. And he worked his way up, and he made it. He made it. He's a success story. He made it through the amateurs. He made it through going pro, and his dream came true. And his dream was to fight in Boston, and he got it. He made his dream come true. And got fight of the night, and
the pinnacle.
Yeah.
I mean, out for him at that time was the pinnacle of his career. But he's figured out that there's more, and Charles is one of my really good friends. He's a great guy, and it's fun. Like, before he turned pro, I knew him. I watched him train. I watched him develop. And, he and I spent a lot of time together over the years. So it's great to see him advance and get to be, where he is now at this next level.
Yeah, and his brother is, and he like another brother. His brother's a wrestler and a fighter. Maybe we'll have him on your card someday as well. And his brother's a good
You
fighter.
You never know,
too.
Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll tell you.
They've gone to Thailand and Cambodia together to train.
Yeah.
Lex, do you know Evelyn Martins, who trains with
I
MMA
do,
now?
and she is fighting for me as well. September 20th. Just turned 18, so she's making her pro debut for me, and I've been watching her train. I've been watching her train since she was 15 years old. She is a stud, an absolute stud.
You know what? She is we met her at Global Legion because Steve was supposed to do an interview, but I couldn't find Steve. So Colin Lubins just won. Colin Lubins, yeah. And I see the MMA Masters gear, and there was a whole table with people with MMA Masters gear. And I said, hey, does anyone want to do this interview with the Fighting News? And they all looked at Evelyn and said, yeah, and said, Evelyn will do it. So I gave Evelyn the mic, and I said, just introduce yourself. Say you're doing this interview for the Fighting News, and your teammate here, and she did it. And she's got that marketability, the personality, the work ethic, and she just turned 18 years old. And like you said, she's
Have you seen her? Have you seen her train or seen any of her kickboxing fights down in? She's that's a badass chick. Let me tell you.
Yep.
That girl is for real. She's gonna, I've taken her under my wing along with Daniel Valverde and Cesar and James from MMA Masters, and I think that she's going to do some great things for Titan, and I predict that she's going to be a champion for us rather soon, even with only being a debut. And then she's going to be in the UFC rather soon. She's that good.
Wow.
I'll go even further. She's going to do great things for the sport. When I spoke to her, when we interviewed her, she said there's a bunch of girls in Brazil and a bunch of kids in Brazil that want to go the same path that she did. Come here to America to train and fight. And she teaches the kids over at MMA Masters. So she's got that inside of her also. So she's going to do great things for the sport.
Yeah. No, she's definitely going to be, I think, a very good ambassador.
Yes. And I was talking to her yesterday on Instagram. I said, you got to come on the show now that you turned 18. That's what you were waiting for. Because we saw her. That's what she was always saying. I can't wait till I'm 18 and I can fight pro. So.
Yeah, no, we're
awesome.
excited for her.
We got it. Good.
No, I was gonna say, you guys bring up an important point, which is, she's looking at how can I help some of these other girls that are, in Brazil come along and have the same experience and journey that she's had. And I'll tell you, when, I've been to Brazil quite a few times over the years as a result of being, involved with this sport, going with the UFC a bunch of times. And every time we've ended up going to the favelas and going to some of these social projects that the fighters like Minotauro Nogueira, Shogun Rua, Anderson Silva, they put on. And I've seen some incredibly talented kids that were training like jiu-jitsu on concrete and dirt. And they just had this passion for it, but they had no resources. But they loved it and they were hungry. And, you're going to continue to see some amazing talent come out of Brazil because they've got a passion for the sport.
Yeah, well, she was lucky enough that her family supports her, and they dropped everything to move out here, really, for the kids, for her and her sister.
Yeah, that's true.
she's got a younger sister too that trains. So
we had a question, Matt, from XFN's matchmaker.
Hey, Michael.
What's up, Michael? When are you guys gonna have Jornell Ventura and Shane O'Shea on a future show at Titan?
Jornell Lugo.
We get hit up all the time, and these guys that we have on the radar.
Yeah.
If I could, Daniel from XFN is always, he's a friend, and so he kind of hits me up and says, hey, make sure you get this guy on, make sure you get this guy on. So he's got his finger on the pulse of things, so he knows the type of people we're looking for, and
Right.
Those are definitely names that we've looked at, and I'm sure we're going to get them on soon.
Yeah, Jornell is incredible, man. I think he just keeps getting better and better, and he's really composed in the ring, and he's a student of the sport. He studies it. We've interviewed him several times on this show, and also the Canvas podcast that I was doing with Maureen Shea and Jessica Aguilar. We had him on there, and I like him. I like him a lot, man. I think he's got a good future.
Shout out Jornell.
Yeah.
A1 Lugo.
A1 Lugo. Yeah. So, is there anyone else you want to mention or bring up, Lex, that is in your organization or up and comers, people we should look out for?
I definitely want to just congratulate Huáscar Cruz for the Dominican Republic, who won a title for his country. And you talk about being the support of his country. He went home and he was greeted by the Minister of Sports.
Wow.
Has had the opportunity to, be taken care of and just appreciated by his people. And that's what, to me, I love about the sport is, and why we go to some of the places like Kazakhstan, the Dominican Republic, where the UFC hasn't gone yet, but there's this strong passion for the sport because these kids are held up. They come and fight for me and, win a title for us. Like, look, I don't devalue what we do and the importance of it and the value of our titles, but in a country like the Dominican Republic, they look at it and they're like, you've climbed, Mount Kilimanjaro or Mount Everest. Like, you've attained the summit of like one of the greatest, things in the sport, and they celebrate it. And so I love that because I love seeing that.
Yeah.
So that would be my big shout out.
What I thought was admirable about Huáscar was the pride that this man had for his country and just having, the ability to take that title home and share that pride with his people. It was moving to watch him in his glory.
It was, my partners from the Dominican Republic that I do our shows with over there were in attendance at the event. And, I had them come in and I actually had them put the belt on him, and I stepped away and let them have that moment with him.
Yeah.
Because, they were all so proud. They were all so excited. It's like, it was like being in Europe or in South America and watching like a soccer match and the home team scores a goal. Everybody loses their mind. Go. That's what it was like. The passion and the energy that these guys had for Huáscar was just, it was inspiring, and it's great to see him go home and get that same sort of reception.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. But again, you got people from his country. That's his country is behind him. I mean, the United States doesn't support really any athletes anymore like that. Like they used to,
Not the way they used to, but I think that's where it's incumbent on, organizations like Fighting News, organizations like Titan, the UFC, whatever, to tell the stories of the athletes so that people really buy into it more.
Yeah.
One thing I will tell you that I believe ONE FC does a tremendous job of is they create heroes of their athletes. And they're less concerned about the ONE FC brand as opposed to like the NFL, the UFC, and I'm partners with the UFC. I'm a huge fan and opponent of the UFC, but they build the UFC. That's the brand they promote. and it's up to the individual athlete to kind of promote themselves. Like the NFL is all about protecting the shield and everybody knowing the NFL, not so much the individual, football player. ONE FC really invests into getting to know the fighters, and I think there's a lesson to be learned from that. To bring that over to the States. That's why I do these Lunch with Lex episodes and things that kind of help look beyond the training room or the cage where these guys compete. Take them to a place that's fun where you can sit down and have a conversation about more than fighting. Because there's a hell of a lot more about life than fighting. There is. Turns out.
Well, you're right, and historically, it's been like that. These guys have, and women too, have used the fighting as a vehicle to, secure their families, have a future for their kids, and make something of themselves. And it wasn't always about, or to, to go on to other things. Like if you look back in like the 70s, 80s, even into the 90s, like how boxers were put up on pedestals. You know what I mean? You had them on commercials. They were doing all kinds of commercials. I saw Evander Holyfield who did some kind of commercial. I just saw it the other day on an old ESPN thing. He was reading children's books, to kids in a school and all.
Yeah.
But, you had Sugar Ray Leonard was on that Great Space Coaster show,
No, man.
Yeah, it's so different these days. Everybody's got to fight. Everybody's got to fight for their spot,
Yeah.
For sure.
So.
Well, hey, listen, guys. I'm getting the
sir.
Look from my mother.
Are you getting the look of death?
I am. So if you don't mind, if I can excuse myself and go eat dinner with my family, so my mother doesn't.
Yes, sir. Any last words?
Just thank you guys, man. I appreciate everything you do, and make sure that you guys tune in to Titan FC 64 coming up on September 25th. We're going to be announcing a lot soon and showing a lot of videos, and just thank you guys always for the support.
For sure.
Thanks,
Absolutely.
Lex.
All right, we appreciate you coming
guys.
on.
Say hello to everyone in the family.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks, Les. So there you have it.
We got to go over to his house for some of that South African kudo or whatever it was.
Yeah, we'll call that dinner with Lex.
Dinner with Lex.
And the fighting news.
Yeah, so I'm telling you.
I'm looking forward to covering that in late September for sure. We in? Are you in this time?
Yes.
Matt?
Yeah.
Speaking of what we got going on this week, Matt. So we're going to be coming to you live from Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. Me and Gerardo are going to be there. We're going to be reporting live. We're going to be sending Matt photographs from the show. Melissa said she was going, but we haven't heard back from her yet, so that's probably a no. But we're going to be doing live results from Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship.
I don't know. It sounds like you guys are going to need help.
We're going to be doing it. Matt's going to help us.
They're going to need help, Melissa. They're going to need help.
All right. If you don't need my help, it's okay.
Oh, no. We already... and Justin Tibbs is going to be in Daytona.
Woo!
Woo! So... but you got if you want to go, Melissa, you got to put those credential requests in
I didn't
by
get an email with a credential.
tomorrow.
What's going on? Send that over to me so that I can at least get that in there.
Yeah, Gerardo said, yeah. All right. So, main event. Matt.
Main event.
Let's chop it up.
What about it?
Let's go over it. Everyone wants to know.
Everyone.
I mean, everyone wants to know. It's all over the internet. Everyone knows the main event of Bear. It's on. Come on, it's 2 days. But we have Lorenzo Hunt coming on tomorrow. He's not.
That's exciting.
Yeah, he's not the main event, but he's fighting on that card.
That's right.
So we have him coming on. All right, we're gonna get Evelyn Martins on one of these days. And who else do we have in the works? We had one or two others.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about that tomorrow then. We're going to go over the lineup for Friday's fight.
Yeah, we'll do that tomorrow with Lorenzo. Because
Good idea. Good idea. Any closing words, Matt?
my closing words are this. I am glad that we spent this time with Lex McMahon. He's a great guy. He's a great guy for the sport. You can see how much energy he puts into helping these fighters. And he's got one living in his house, you know?
Yeah.
So it's really helped a lot of people out, and that's what it's all about. I'm super excited to see Evelyn Martins make her pro debut. She's going to be a sensation, and again, she's a great person as well. Her family is great, so we look forward to that. And that's it. That's
Melissa, any closing words?
All I have to say is it's always a pleasure meeting up with you guys, and I'm looking forward to many, many more. And I want to go have some dinner. So I will see you next time.
Bye, Melissa.
All right. Bye, Melissa. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for coming. So, Matt, closing words. Steve, yes, I have some closing words. So, always a pleasure to speak with Lex. Great guy. I've been enjoying his shows for quite some time now. Who's that, Matt?
That's Maureen Shea. Oh,
Maureen Shea. Let's get her on the show.
Right. What?
What? Are you watching a fight?
No, we're just ending a show that we were on with Lex McMahon. Who's on right now?
The Contender Series.
Oh, the Contender Series is on tonight. That's Tuesday. All right, Steve, we're going to watch a Contender Series.
All right, we're going to Maureen Shea's house to watch the Contender Series.
Say hi, Maureen.
Hey, Maureen.
Hi, Steve.
She's like, why are you putting me on the show, Matt?
I got to get out of this.
My shirt, but I'm not a fan of pink.
Oh, Matt picked that shirt out.
No, I didn't. That was the last one you had. It was the last color, you liar.
She don't
All right,
like pink.
come on now, Steve, I'm calling you a liar on national TV here. All right, we got to go. We've been on since 7. It's an hour and 12 minutes. Where's the hang-up button? How do I leave this studio?
Thanks for coming on there, Matt. So, once again, Steve Rothman, The Fighting News. Come on tomorrow night. We got Lorenzo Hunt. He's fighting Bare Knuckle Fighting Championships on Friday, September 11th. They're going to have a bunch of Army and Navy guys there doing a 9/11 memory of 9/11 show during that Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. So we're going to talk about that tomorrow night. Thank you all for tuning in. Deuces.